And hello, everyone, and welcome to the first episode of 2023. Hello, Jim Fuse.
Hello, and Happy New Year to everyone. And today we're going to have some fun as we do, I guess we could say every New Year with what
every week.
Every week, yes. Our prediction show is today. And so we've got some guests backstage. And so as they come on, we're going to be changing things up with the background, which is okay because that's what we do here with live streaming. But yeah, so Tim, how did you have a good holiday? It's good to see you.
I did have a good holiday. I had a good holiday with the family, and we hosted Christmas for the first time here at the Seoul abode here in Oshahoda. How was your holiday, Jim?
It was good. It was good. It was a little cold on Christmas. I think it got down to single digits. That wasn't something that
there was a cold patch in there.
Yes, we had cold patch, but now we have a rainy patch.
Oh.
And so the weather's been crazy. And,
let us know the weather where you are. We want to know.
Yes, we'd like to know. Is there weather where you are?
Is there weather? We hope there's weather.
Cuando hace el tiempo.
Yes, so now we're going to speak Spanish for the rest of the show.
Yes. Well, I started using Duolingo. I don't know if you've tried that yet. It teaches you languages on your phone.
No, maybe I should try that.
Pretty cool. Yes. And
yes, but anyway.
Yes. So we digress. So language is one of those things people are going to learn in 2023. That's one of my predictions.
I like your transition there. Languages, yes, for sure.
Yeah. So I guess Tim, we normally let everyone else do their predictions first before we give ours, right?
Is that how we normally do it?
I think it is.
We can do that. Let's do it.
We'll do it that way.
Let's put the spotlight on others first.
Yes.
We're here first, so but yeah, let's do it.
All right. So you want to introduce our guest, and we'll start to bring them on.
Sure. Who are we bringing on in what order?
Whatever order you choose. You know who's backstage. So
actually, I can't see them, so I don't know. But I know Stefan Kaplan is here.
Yes.
Stefan Kaplan, Mr. Spin It Social, the man with the hat, the man with I know he also has a goat hanging out today.
I do. It's right here. Okay.
Yes.
That's it.
Stefan is also my BFAM, brother from another mother, among other things. And I love that pink lighting in the background also, Stefan.
Well, I'm always listening to you guys, and I'm always, in agreement with you guys on many things. And Jim is always saying you have to improve a little bit, and a little bit more, right?
Yeah.
So this year I worked on setting up my own studio probably early on in 2022. And, you really don't need, Jim's a big on this. I know that you don't have to spend a lot of money to fix up these types of things. I mean, I got a little Lume Cube. I got a Savage Universal little light system back there that has like 280 different shades of 8 colors, and a little ring light in front of me facing my wall. And I'm on my brand new MacBook Pro that I got last year, and I think it's pretty clear and pretty crisp, Now,
are you using the M1 MacBook?
I am, with the M1 chip, and fully loaded. And, I went for the Gusto because
it should last you a while. Now, are you using the camera that's built into it, or did you? Nice. It looks nice.
They've made big improvements, and I'm going to up my game with my camera too, because I still want to get a pro camera to hook up to my other little toy that I got, which was a Mac Mini with a big 27-inch screen. Because as you know, when we're doing this type of work, I fall more in line with the production end now. You don't see me on camera as much, which is a big change. And I'll talk about that in a bit. But the bottom line is that I have a dual setup here, and to monitor broadcasts when I'm doing things, as you know, you have to have 2 setups. You have to, not 3. 2 is good for me. The third spot is for my kid's new gaming computer. God help me.
Yes.
Awesome.
So thanks for being here, Stefan.
First of all, Happy New Year to you guys.
Yes, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to everybody. I wish everyone all the best for health, number one, and happiness and just peace of mind.
Awesome.
Yes,
All right, Tim. So
definitely.
who's next?
Let's bring on next. Let's bring on Veronica Jeans.
All right.
The lady on the boat, the Shopify queen and best-selling author, and the lady with the energy, and she's doing the Tim dance. Welcome, Veronica. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you guys. Yeah, I'm always doing the Tim dance, remember? Have to do the Tim dance. So dance.
Yes.
I don't know why I'm talking American. Oh my Lord. I've been here too long.
Well, you did go visit family, so maybe that messed you up.
It did. And I was there for a month. So I had to practice a week before I came back. I had to practice my Americanisms again because, you know, when I go there, everybody goes, what? What did you just say? And I had to come back and go, okay, I have to enunciate my words again so people here can understand what I'm saying.
Yes.
So it is a challenge. But I think the biggest challenge I have is I teach at a Polish university.
Do you speak Polish also?
No, unfortunately not. But the students are from all over the world. They are from Vietnam, from Africa, from wherever, you know, and Europe, obviously, and Ukraine. I had a couple of students from Ukraine. Unfortunately, it was really hard for them. But, you know, and one from Russia. And so it is very interesting to meet these kids. And I really have to speak slowly because, you know, you have to interface with them and, you know, with an Asian accent, really, really strong Asian accent. It is really hard to go, okay, so what? So I put everything on, you know, on the script at the bottom while I'm teaching. Anyway, that's just
awesome. So Tim, we actually have another surprise guest in the green room, but let's get the other two on first, and then we'll bring on our surprise guest.
Yes.
Ooh.
Surprise guest. I'm in suspense.
Well, he's not a surprise to me, but I didn't know he was. I was hoping that person was going to show up, and they did. So
I think I know who it is based on the private chat. Okay, so Mr. Russ Hedge, the Mr. Positivity.
Woo! Here I am.
Good to see you, Russ.
Yes,
I got my screaming goat. I'm ready. Woo! What is 2023 without a screaming goat? Thank you, Tim Sohn.
Is that your prediction for 2023?
Shouldn't there be a new animal this year? Maybe that, you know, it's a new year, new animal.
Do you have a suggestion, Jim?
I'll have to think about it. You know,
Since
we are on StreamYard, maybe we need like a quacking duck. I don't know.
A duck. It would certainly be on brand with StreamYard.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Well, we just follow Tim. Whatever Tim is doing, we'll use that animal. We'll dance and bow to Tim with the screaming goat.
All right.
A happy New Year, Russ. Thanks for being on the show. It's great to see you
Happy
here.
New Year. It is so great to be here. I mean, I love hanging out with you guys. So, you know, anytime here is great with me. And, you know, how much how shy I am and how much I shy away from people. So it takes a lot to get me out here, but it's great. I'm so looking forward to 2023. It's going to be awesome. And, you know, started on the Tim and Jim show, I pretty much made it already.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. I totally agree with that.
Awesome.
Yep.
I agree.
Awesome. And so now we also have someone who loves to build social trust, and that's our good friend, Deb Koman.
Woohoo!
How are
Hey,
you doing,
everybody.
Deb?
I'm doing great.
Welcome.
So good to see everyone. Thanks to everybody tuning in, too.
Yes.
Awesome
yes.
to be here.
And whether you're here live or on the replay, and let us know what your predictions are in the chat for 2023. We'll see if some of us think the same thing, because today is the 2023 prediction show, and that's why we brought everyone together, because it'd be interesting to see what folks' predictions are, because we all kind of have different, I think, perspectives, which I think will make things interesting. And,
Yes.
And Deb, now where are you today?
I'm in Syracuse, New York.
Is it
and
snowing?
lovely, dreary weather. No, it's raining when you said that, Jim, about where you
Yes.
are.
I think it's the
Um,
whole East Coast, maybe. I don't know. Is
yeah,
it raining on you, Stefan and Tim?
It was incredibly foggy and misty this morning.
Same here. Yeah.
Yeah.
it's
raining
okay.
here.
It makes you want to hunker down, and you know, today's show is such a great thing to do, to just kind of get together and share thoughts, ideas, predictions, and
Mm-hmm.
look to the future, you know. So
Yes.
I'm really excited. And when I saw your message, Jim, saying, "Hey, would you want to come on?" I thought, you know, it's great. Thank you so much for inviting me. And it just speaks to what I think it's all about for us when we connect here online, is just, sure, I'll be on, you know, and just, there's just this quick connection of, yeah, I don't need to even know much more than that. And I just love that. And I'm excited to hear what everyone has to share about what they're predicting for 2023.
Yes. And so when everyone saw that amazing video at the beginning of the show, it probably, you know, his bank account gets a penny, I think, every time that video plays.
Nice.
But Chris Stone has been able to join.
I knew it.
And look, it even put him up in the middle top. Isn't that funny? I didn't even do that on purpose.
Actually, it deducts money from my Lightning wallet, you know, in terms of Satoshis and Bitcoins. So, but I happily give those to those that watch the Tim and Jim show every week. How's everybody doing? This is amazing. Look at all these beautiful people.
Yeah.
They even allowed Stefan Kaplan in the house. Look at you with the magenta vibes.
I think the last time we saw each other, a cat kept coming on.
Yeah, right. Where's that cat? I love that cat.
That's right. That's right. The cat.
It's a long story, folks.
Did the cat? I guess the cat software got fired.
I predict that the cat will make a comeback. I also predict now that I'm on the show, it's gotten a lot worse. So please, Veronica Jeans, I know you can make this better.
I am definitely going to make it better, my boy. Absolutely.
No pressure.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, Chris, we're glad you could join us. And I don't know if you have to, if you have a certain, like, where you got to jump off. I know sometimes you have something right after this.
Nah, let's cancel them. This is way more fun.
All right, there you go.
I know, that's what I did. I said, "Oh, guys, just gonna have fun. I'll be there when I'm done here."
Excellent. All right, so I'm gonna change this around a little bit, and so what we're gonna do is, this is how we're gonna kind of get into the whole predictions thing, as each person
Brady Bunch
comes on and gives their predictions here. We'll have the Brady Bunch look, right? This is one of the nice things you can do with StreamYard. It'd be interesting to see if they come up with new layouts for 2023. I don't know. That's not a prediction. That's more of a wonder.
Maybe they'll have trapezoids.
Trapezoids, yes. So, but we'll go in the order that Tim introduced people. So, Stefan, we're going to put you in the spotlight first. And so, what do you think is going to happen this year that we need to consider? What's in the Stefan Kaplan crystal ball?
Yeah, well, you know, I was talking to Tim about this earlier before the show, and it's been a crazy year, social media wise. I mean, starting with Twitter, you know, and I think that with all the chaos that's ensued, Twitter, the craziness with Twitter and Musk has really put the spotlight, I think, on the importance of always using, you know, more than getting without dedicating yourself to one platform. It's always important to be diverse with your platforms, number one, because a lot of people who have been using Twitter religiously, including myself, and have have a little bitter taste and other things in their mouth right now because of a lot of stuff going on with it. You know, you get stuck on something, and you need to expand, and you need to try new things all the time. But I think the number one thing that it's done for me, and I think probably for other people as well, is it's making us reevaluate our use of social media too. I think every time there's a problem with a certain platform, I think that it makes us, at least it does for me, it makes me reevaluate my use of social media. Why are we in social? What are we doing with it? What's our purpose, you know, with it? And my goal is to always help others improve theirs. Of course, that's what I do for a living as a social media and visual consultant. But the bottom line is that I want to use my platforms more for better storytelling and community building. And I'm sure Deb will give me a big amen on that one, as well as Russ and everybody on board here. It's getting always about, we stray from the fundamentals sometimes because we're trying out all these new apps, all these new things out there. But the number one thing that can change, the core of it all, is always about great storytelling and great community building. So that I think that 2023 is going to bring a lot of people back to that. I've just started using Mastodon a bit. I don't know if anybody else is on it. It's a little confusing at first, because it's many different servers, but yet you are all connected in one solid way. And I already like the energy on there. I like that I'm learning new things with it, and I'm getting back to the fundamentals of social again, which is what I just went through. And so that I'll take a pause there for a second and and let you interject.
Yeah, no, I think that's interesting. I mean, I'm sticking with Team Twitter. I think that for me, I don't know about others, that I've always looked at it, any of these platforms. If I don't like what you're saying, I don't have. It's kind of like, unless I have to change the dial, I just mute you. I block you. I don't see your stuff. And so for me, and I know Deb is really active on Twitter, I personally really haven't seen anything. I mean, I know there's been some glitches as things have happened. People were upset because of the layoffs, but the reality is, I was reading an article yesterday. Facebook and Amazon laid off more people than any other company. So it's a business decision. It is a business, and I think sometimes we let our emotions get in the way of thinking what happens with companies. But I think Twitter is continuing to work well for me. I that's where I get most of my breaking news is from Twitter. I don't spend a lot of time on Facebook. So I think it's interesting. I don't want to get into having to keep adding new platforms. I think even having TikTok is a struggle. Like, should we be on it? I mean, that might be a prediction for someone, but the federal government and I believe several state governments have now banned the use of TikTok on government devices. And so, but you'll have a lot of people like, you got to get on TikTok. That's where you make all your money.
Let me take a step back for a second, though, because when I was talking about Twitter, I didn't mean that I left the platform or anything.
Right.
Any means necessary, but I wanted to start checking out some Mastodon because I have heard quite a few really big thinkers out there and other journalists and stuff like that have gone over to it. I have preached all along, do not leave Twitter, because first of all, I've invested 12 plus years, whatever, in the platform, in building my brand and everything else. And I may not have 1 million followers, but I have a ton of quality followers. But more importantly, I think that it's important, like you said before, is to separate your emotions from, business sometimes too. And a lot of people are taking a very big ethical stand with Twitter and other things. And I get that too. But I totally agree with you is that a good friend of mine, journalist David Beard, always said, you can make your social better. You have control of your social. So you don't have to let social control you. And, yes, there's a lot of negativity, but that's the case on a lot of platforms. So you don't have to listen to it. You can filter it. You can block it. You can pay attention to it or choose not to and be productive and positive and many other things with your use of social media. So I agree with you 100%. I'm not leaving Twitter. I just wanted to check out the one new platform that's been emerging, which is Mastodon, because I think it's important to check out things that can start out strong out of the gate, may or may not pan out. But I do agree with you too. You don't want to stray too far with too many platforms, because then you're not concentrating enough on your content, and you're all over the place. And that's just leads to even more social media ADD. And we have enough as professionals, I think, controlling that as it is.
Definitely.
Yes.
So let's hear Veronica. What's your prediction for this year?
Okay, do you have time? I've got but I will only talk about e-commerce. So e-commerce is very intertwined with social. Otherwise, you couldn't be selling anything, because if nobody knows you're online, how are they going to buy from you, right? So the biggest thing I think for 2023 is video. Lots more video. There's definitely 3D is now on Shopify. You can add your 3D products on there. And I think being more personal and transparent, right? Which goes and then goes into I think sustainability is very important for e-commerce. A lot more shoppers are more determined of how you're sending your stuff out. Are you sustainable? What are you using for packaging? What are you using for your products? And environmentally friendly, right? So a lot more customers are looking at, what are you doing with your company? How are you supporting environmentally things around you? And mobile has increased tremendously, and I think is probably one of the most important things that are going to come out of this year, is that e-commerce has to concentrate more on making it more viable for people to shop online from the e-commerce stores. And it always surprises me when I get a client that says, when I see they're not mobile centric, it is just really, are you in the 21st century? Hello, we're way beyond that now. AI.
That's interesting. No, that's very interesting. I wanted to kind of go back on that too, because Chris and I see it with Amazon, where they're starting to push some things to try to increase that mobile interaction.
Yes.
They've launched a if you want to call it, and you may or may not have it because it's rolling out. If you have the shopping app on your phone, it's called Inspire. It's a little light bulb.
Yes.
And it's kind of supposed to be like TikTok. I think Chris and I right now would probably both say it's a hot mess, but it may get better.
It's Amazon.
But we've found, and it'll be interesting to see if it changes, about 80 to 85% of the sales we make so far from Amazon have been on desktop. So I'm curious to see if that starts to change as the year goes on. But yeah, I definitely think, to your point. And so do you think that, I mean, in a way, what you're saying is like people, and I know we order a lot of stuff online, and in a way, I feel like, hey, I don't have to spend my time and my gas to go out and get stuff. So you think they're going to start pushing that?
Yes, hugely changed. I think the way people have shopped has happened because of the pandemic. And now people are comfortable shopping online. So you got to be ready. You literally have to be ready on your website. You have to have the information. You have to have the content. You have to be. We've done some analytics on my clients' sites, and definitely mobile has jumped. I mean, they were literally shocked how much people are shopping online. And even just, for instance, my little personal puzzle lady, the missing piece, she was shocked. I mean, because you have to upload your photo to the website, then you have to, decide what size, and then you have to send it off. People are doing it from their mobile, and she was surprised. And so, I mean, Amazon now on a product page, you can upload a video, right, on the product page, and it is for reviews, and it is for your product page. So they're definitely pushing that video, and people are literally, if you don't have videos on your any website, right, then you're losing out, because people they either read or they watch and read, right? Because we don't have a lot of time. They're lazy. And I've got to say this, a lot of content online is badly written. They've got like 20 sentences in one paragraph. It's like when I see something like that, I go, oh my Lord, my brain can't handle this. Boom, off the website. So optimizing the websites is essential. and AI, AI is so important these days. Everybody's got AI, Amazon, Google, Facebook. I mean, we're behind the curve now because obviously they've had it before, but now it's available for us to actually grab that content online and put it on our websites, and also implement it for search and stuff on e-commerce. Because people, they come on your site, they are there for an instant. If you don't grab their attention, they're off, and they're off to somebody else's. So you got to be, and this is what I tell clients as well, is you got to be personal, right? People tend to think, I've got a store, I don't have to come out because, hey, it's online, it's virtual, they don't have to know me, but it is, you got to imagine being in a retail store. You've got to say welcome to your customers. You've got to chat to your customers. You've got to be personal with your customers. I've just a couple of examples of picking up the phone, right? Picking up the phone and talking to customers. I've sold $1,000, $2,000 sculptures just because I picked up the phone. And so, it is very, very important to connect to and that's the way you do it with video. And we've seen results now, especially where they've become more personal. They talk to their people, they talk to their tribe, they have a video, and boom, sales are going up. It's amazing, right? And so, and one of the other things is, why don't you have a video on your thank you page or in your order page that says, hey, thank you for, and then everybody goes, oh my God, she loves me, or he loves me, We always want to be recognized. But yeah, I think, for 2023, the e-commerce has had a boost in, I would say 12 years ago, 10 years ago, had a major boost. Now it's just gone through the roof again. And we're right on that crest where if you want to start something online, you got to start it now. You got to start practicing now, because it is only going to increase. Because, and Chris, and you too, Jim, how many sales have happened on Amazon. I mean, people have personalized Amazon drivers. Isn't that crazy? It's like, seriously, dude. So, you people are really shopping more online. So this is it. I mean, 2023 is really the year to be online, selling something, drop shipping something. And also being local, right? Because what happened through pandemic, we couldn't find stuff, we couldn't buy things. You go online, it's not available because they haven't made anything. So I think a lot of companies have pulled back to the US or back to local. And so getting that local input and inventory into your store, that's going to happen a lot more as well. Because I think people have, with, again, pandemic, I had to pop up the pandemic every 5 minutes, but people have become more personal because of Zooming and connecting with family over videos. So they're more comfortable with connecting with people. And I think that's what we're going to do locally as well. I see it happening, really.
Nice.
But Veronica, sorry, Jim.
No,
I was just going to say, I know you've been talking for a while about, the need for businesses online to be more personal on video and things like that. Have you seen more businesses embracing that? And do you have any suggestions, maybe one tip for businesses, or like, I really don't want to do that, but do you have a tip that maybe could get them over the hump?
See, I'm gonna
shout out to your hubby Roy.
Yeah, it's very small space here. I can't go anywhere else. So yes, videos, and here is interesting. On my Monday workshop, my skincare little lady said, "Hey, I'm going to do videos this year. I'm just going to go online. I'm going to do it. I have a phone, and I'm just going to practice." And that's it. Take your phone, start filming yourself. Obviously have a stand, because that would suck, having this thing wobbling around on your face.
Right.
And do it, right? Do it. Just be natural, because that's it's that communication with people. You don't have to be professional. Really, really don't, just be personable. So, I mean, look here, Abby walks in and out of my studio.
Right. That's right.
Which is my lounge and part of my kitchen. Hey,
All right, we're going to bring Chris Stone on. He does have to leave a little early, so I want to make sure we had a chance to hear from him. Chris, great to see you. Happy New Year, my friend. And
Happy New Year as well.
Are you predicting their R2D2?
Oh, what are we doing? We're predicting? Okay. Oh gosh, you know what I didn't bring this year is my crystal ball. So here's my StreamYard coffee cup. So this is going to magically, I'm going to become a prophet, a soothsayer, a predictor. Okay, 2023. Let me see. Oh, I see Jim. I think Jim is going to launch up his podcast finally. And oh wait, in November of 2027. Okay, so next show 4 years from now. We'll do. Oh, there's Tim. I predict Tim will bring a bear and a turkey finally live on the Tim and Jim show. Okay, Tim. Ooh, don't feed the bears. Make sure that they're secure. Do not feed them. No, I do predict that the Tim and Jim show will have its best year ever, because congratulations, gentlemen. This is a fantastic, fun show. I mean, look at these people that support you every week, and you get great guests like Russ Hedge and Veronica Jeans and Deb Coman, and gosh, I mean, just such great energy. Stefan Kaplan, even you. With the cat. This is such a fantastic. And, another note is never try to go as early as possible on these unplanned prediction shows, because mine are taken. But, I do believe that vertical video is specifically as it relates to live selling or live solving, as Jim and I do on Dealcasters, is definitely ramping up thanks to Amazon launching Inspire. And as was mentioned, it's a bit of a fire hose being turned on, because they need Amazon. They need more content in there. So they're throwing a lot in there just to get people used to riding the bike. And eventually that content will get better. And so things are becoming sort of easier for influencers, for content creators to get launched and to get things in there. However, this also relates to AI as well. Those things are becoming easier. You can just plop in a bunch of photos, and all of a sudden you get these things that make you look like an astronaut, and you're some amazing sort of skinnier version of yourself, which is awesome. And it's really cool, and it's generating more content for everyone. But I do believe that the people that will, or the content creators, the influencers that will sort of rise, are the ones that take that stuff and don't look at it as just an easy button where they can just take their stuff, plop it in. Oh, look, all of a sudden, this is awesome. Try to personalize it. Veronica touched on this as well, is, make it yourself, try to go in and tweak things. And, all of these brands that, that we have, and Dealcasters included, Cast Ahead, all of our businesses, it's not just about a font. It's not just about a logo. It's not just about the colors. It's about you. And so you have to insert yourself personally into these things, whether it's, something that involves artificial intelligence. Use it as a tool that you can mold into what is you. And I believe that those this year in 2023, those influencers and those content creators, the ones that will succeed are the ones that are taking this stuff and not just using it as is, as the robot delivers them to you, but they can take it, mold it, shape it, and make it their own.
I think that's awesome. Chris, I know you've gotta leave shortly. Where's the best place for people to connect with you in 2023?
chrisstone.contact. I probably should have put that there down here, but it's Chris Stone, make that one word, and .contact, and then you can connect with me on all the things.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, Chris, you kind of stole one of my predictions. So, with the
that does make me feel so much better now.
But good
luck on the bears and turkeys, Tim. You're awesome. Again, don't feed the bear.
I'll need it.
Okay.
I'll need it.
Yes.
Also, I have another screaming goat. It's this one here.
God.
It's the giant screaming goat.
It's the giant screaming goat, in case you were wondering.
And everybody
It also makes music, but I'll spare you.
I think I have a goat here too.
And everybody should, oh God.
That's for you.
Everybody should always remember that Chris Stone is the one who created that awesome intro video that you guys have.
Yes.
I still think it's the best.
Now he's got to create a vertical one.
I still think it's the best intro for any show that's been created.
That's because you're in it.
You know,
no, we need one with you in it with those fantastic magenta lights. That's like I watched a video about some a graphic artist predicting. I should send this to you, Stefan, because I know you're a fan of all of that kind of stuff. He was looking at the trending sort of graphics for and styles and colors for 2023, and I think you got it dialed in, man. Behind you, that's the color. You're on trend. You're trending right now on Mastodon.
It just makes me feel peaceful, so I love the color.
Awesome. Who's next?
Russ Hedge.
Do I get off the hot seat? Yes.
Russ Hedge.
Now I have to follow Chris. Oh my goodness.
Are you befuddled?
Master. I'm feeling completely like I'm living the life I choose. How about you, Chris?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Inspiration specialist Russ Hedge. Please welcome to the stage. Woo!
Woo-hoo! Oh, that is what an intro. What an intro. Well, in the theme of the fact that I am an inspiration specialist and I love to encourage people, I want to tell you, I've got a couple predictions that I can absolutely guarantee. Are you ready?
All right.
We're in suspense.
Okay, you ready? There we go.
We're
Drum roll.
ready. We're ready.
If you live your life inspiring and encouraging others and building community, you will have an amazing 2023, because it's been brought up already by Stefan, by Veronica, and all of you, that community is so important, and who we're connected to, whether it's in our selling in life, whether it's through our business, or whether it's in our personal life. And I can guarantee that if you connect and inspire and encourage other people, it comes back to you. It also just makes you feel good when you're reaching out to people. Video is so powerful. You guys brought that up, and I can tell you, if you take just a second and send a little video message or just do something to inspire people, when I do that, it makes me feel so good. It's kind of selfish sometimes, makes me feel better, but I know that it means so much to people when you take the time to just actually take a moment to reach out and speak to them authentically, and I think what's so important too is that, you really in 2023, put the real you forward, right? Authenticity is thrown around all the time. People want to see who you really are. They want to see Veronica on the boat with her husband walking behind. I'm serious. I mean, that's what people want to see, because that endears them. When things are too polished and too sterile, people are like, eh. So I can tell you that when you show up that way, and Tim is big on showing up, right, Tim?
All about it.
Show up as the real you. Show up and encourage and inspire people. 2023 is going to be amazing. Then no longer will you be befuddled, but you can live the life you choose, right, Chris? And one of my best snippets of that is Mr. Chris Stone, who, when he was on my show originally, he's such a great promoter. But through that, Chris, that little video that you put together, not only did I love it and it did encourage me, but it was a great little tool that I was able to use and put out to other people as well. And so again, it's the power of video, but in that, utilizing it to inspire and encourage people. I don't think people realize how powerful that is, really, in all that they do. So that is my predictions for 2023. Simple and short.
Awesome. Love it. So Deb, we've got to now, after that, we've got this great social trust person. I think it's a perfect segue into what you probably have to say.
Thank you. I hope so. And it is true, as everyone speaks, I'm like, yes. What's going to be left? But as I would expect or predict, there's a bit of a theme here. And it is about what I experience is that it's about connection, and that all of these things, whether it's video, social media, what we do with our content online, it comes back to the basics, I think, in 2023. The last few years, there's been a lot everywhere in the world, professionally, for many of us personally. And I think it helps in a way to kind of push us to shift perspective to what really matters. Like we talked about, when things get a little nutty on social media, we start saying, what do I really want from this? Like, what do I want to do going forward? And I think that's what 2023 is about. Every year feels like that, but let's leave some of that stuff behind us that didn't work, reevaluate how we want to show up. And much as everyone has already said, it is about making connection one person at a time. Whether you're sending an email to thousands of people or broadcasting, you want to make that connection feel personal, feel like you are paying attention to that audience, much like you two do every time on your show. It's not just about broadcasting out, it's about pulling in what people are saying in the comments and getting back to people both, before, during, and after the show. That's what we want to do. And I predict that more and more people are going to be looking to do just that. Simplify our messages, simplify how we're showing up online. Who's the real us? And if we're not bringing enough of us into our content, into our social media, into everything that we do, why is that? And can we be helped to get comfortable with that? It's not comfortable for everyone. And yet, like everyone has said before me, the more we do that, the more the magic happens. The more we are building trust when we show up authentically, when we share what happens in the background, when the dog barks or the doorbell rings. People are paying attention to not like, oh, look at what just happened on a live stream. They're probably looking at, how do you handle that? Are you laughing it off? Are you nervous? Are you what? And all of it's okay. There's no right or wrong to that. But the more we allow that to come through, the more people will find those value points that they share with us, that leads to trust, that leads to relationship. And me being here today really is a result of how how I do that, how Jim does that, and Tim as well, and all of you here who I've seen before and gotten to know a little bit, that, Jim, when he reached out and said, would you be on the panel? It's because we've made connection. Yes, we've been in big groups and settings where there are a lot of people, but we've made a connection by getting to know each other a little bit and by just, supporting each other, so that's really, it can be that simple. And it's not always about casting the net wider. It's about going deeper on the relationships that we already have and creating meaningful conversation, building trust, building those relationships, and taking them as far as they can go. Like, look for collaborative opportunities, look for ways to support other people. And it comes right back to you, and the intention is not for that coming back. The intention is to make the connection.
So true. I mean, that's powerful. I mean, Tim, you want to add anything to that?
Oh, I agree with 100,000% of all that, Deb. I mean, I am so much about collaboration and community, and through this show, through my other show, Showing Up Perspectives on Cancer, it's so important to reach out to people, right? Like through direct messages or video messages or audio messages, or like even when we show up here on these shows, like you were saying, right? We acknowledge people in the comments. We're not, personally, I don't like the word broadcast when it comes to like these kind of shows anyway. I like to consider it a conversation with our guests, yes, but also with the people who are watching as well.
I just want to add something to what Deb was saying too, if I may. It's also about finding ways of establishing, making yourself personable, number one, and telling stories, like I said earlier. But telling the stories have to be different from just always being about your business and other things too. And I'll just give one quick example. Over the holiday, I was in the city. I took the train into the city. And granted, I'm a photographer, but as well. But I was on the train and in Penn Station, I met this wonderful guy named Vince, who used to work on an oil platform out in the ocean on the coast of Louisiana. My point with this is that I told his story, and I let people know a bit about him because he was so gracious enough to let me know for the 20, 30 minutes we were together on this ride, commuting, so much about him. And the things that struck me about him, he was so gracious about so many things in his life. And I shared that with people. Sometimes people tell me, you know, when people who don't know social as well, they're like, well, what does that have to do with you doing social media? It has a lot to do with me doing social media, because I pride myself on being a great storyteller, not just about me, but about others. And that's the most important thing.
Yeah, I agree completely. And I think that, like many have said around the storytelling and shining a light on other people and being inspirational, as you were sharing, Russ, like by doing the thing, by telling the story, we create emotion in the people who are listening. And that's where connection begins. And you're so right. It's not necessarily about our business and our services. It's more about who we are as people, why we do what we do, you know, what's driving us, what's important in our lives. And it's usually going to be the personal, whether it's family. We get to decide how much we're going to share, but the more we do feel comfortable sharing, the more people get to know us, trust us, and feel like they want to spend their time and or their dollars with us versus the thousands of other people who do work very similar to what we do or have products very similar to what we have. Like Veronica said, what makes you on video? You know, why do they want to spend their money with you versus someone else? And it's often going to be how you make them feel. And I agree completely, Steph, that it's, you know, the stories don't have to just be about ourselves, but just the fact that you value stories comes across when you tell the story about someone you met. So there's just so many ways that we can go about doing it. And I think the more we can support ourselves in 2023 and support each other when we're sharing that kind of stuff, we can be a great model to people who don't find it as easy to do, at least initially.
Right.
I agree. Yes.
So Tim, it's now your turn to be a predictor.
Oh, the pressure coming after Deb. Oh my goodness. So many of you guys know I'm all about community and all about connecting with people, right, through live streams and also one-on-one. But recently I started working a part-time job that's 20 hours a week. So I love my new job, but I also find that I need to find ways to be more efficient in the things that I do. I need to save time. So one of the themes that it seems that's going on today is AI, right? In different ways, AI seems to be something that's growing even more. And one thing that I noticed is Canva now has a built-in AI tool called Magic Write. So I could put something in that says something like 5 steps to creating an impactful live stream show or something like that. And it'll actually give me 5 steps to doing that. Now, I'm not going to publish it exactly that way. I'm going to add my take and my personality on it, but it's going to at least give me a starting point. And it might not work perfect every time, but it's just the point of sometimes we have limits on our time. And so for me, it's important to still keep in touch with people and have that sense of community, but also find tools that are going to save time in certain areas, if that makes sense. And then I just think live streaming is continuing to evolve. It's grown so much with the pandemic, and then it's just continued to evolve. Even more live streaming platforms are coming out, believe it or not. And even on StreamYard, the number of features that are coming out, there's been a number of new features lately, like the on-air webinar platform, and I know they're planning on adding a lot of new features to that. And Instagram now, for some people, I guess that'll be rolling out to others, added the ability to stream using third-party platforms. I know Jim has the feature. We were testing it out the other day. So just the evolution of live streaming, that's continuing to grow as well, and I'm excited to see where it goes this year. As with all things live streaming and social media, you never know what's going to happen tomorrow. So whatever we're saying today may change by tomorrow, but I'm excited to see where it goes.
Yeah.
What
Tim,
about you, Jim?
You bring up a good point. I want to kind of have a little bit more of a discussion where you talked about the use of AI, especially like you're talking about Magic Write, right? There's a Chat GPT, there's Jasper AI, there's all these ways now. And some of these, like Chat GPT, is free, right? So you could go out there, create an account. In fact, they said, I think they had 1 million, if you want to call it, subscribers in 5 days. It was like the fastest growing, thing ever. And, but like our friends at Lately, right? They've been using AI for a while. All this AI stuff kind of I love the Lately analogy of it gets you to third base, but you have to personalize it to bring it home, because 100%. Otherwise it's just, everybody's just going to be regurgitating the same thing. There's that personal touch of it there. And so I think that, yes, there's a fear, and this is going to go into part of my predictions after this is done, but there's this fear that, the AI is going to take over. But I think that whether it's other tools, that there's already another tool that it can tell you, like, oh, this was made by AI. So I'm not sure how they do that, but okay. But it's like you as a person are going to start to judge whether or not you find this content worthwhile. And if it's just very fact-based, there's no, human touch to it, I think that'll turn people off, and it's going to be very hard to get them to come back. So to sit there and say, oh, you don't need a copywriter anymore, you just throw this in there and it's going to give you this perfect thing, I don't think that's the case. It might help a little bit, like with what Veronica's talking about. It might be able to give me the product details, but you still got to check it.
Oh, yeah.
Because we don't know that it's perfect. I mean, Veronica, you look like you want to add something to
that. But, so AI has simplified the research, right? Mm-hmm. Because what they're doing is grabbing information online. So what has taken me 6 to 8 hours before, I now can collate that into, whoa, I've got something within half an hour. But then you still have to take that content and make it your own, or have that voice of your customer, right? So it's not just like, oh, I'm going to grab this and boof, you put it on there. That's not going to work, because then it just doesn't sound. It's like using your manufacturer's descriptions, right? Mm-hmm. So you have, and we get back to personalizing and making it your own.
Right. Definitely to building trust. But Jim, I think those are great predictions. And I think I know of at least 7 or 8 live streaming platforms now. And that's part of my prediction that I'll get into. But did anybody want to add anything to what Tim said? I guess not.
I will real quick just to say I agree to completely with what you said, and again about the personalization, and one of my kind of pet peeves, like I see on Twitter, and anyone who follows me probably heard me say this one more than once, is that when we rely too heavily on the automation and don't personalize, we see things, and I know this isn't AI necessarily, but like the quotes of the day, and I can't tell you how many times there's 6 people in a row with the exact same quote of the day and tweet. And I know it's not their fault. It's just the way things are set up. But it's like, that is, every moment is a trust building opportunity or a trust eroder. And like Jim said, sometimes those things are going to be enough for you to say, I'm kind of done, and that person probably has a lot of really worthwhile content. But that choice at times can be one that pushes people away. So I agree that personalized piece, I don't think that's ever going to go away. I mean, I certainly hope not, because it's what makes us who we are. And then we're just robots working with robots. And, nobody really wants to see that cold, hard world. So
the one thing that I'll add to the personalization factor that I think is really important, it's something that's helped me a lot in my career, is that people need to dig deep sometimes, look deep inside themselves for what, and they know, hopefully know what your passion is. Mine is visuals, as anybody knows. Everything in my world is about using visuals to help tell the story, even what I write. So, find what it is that you're most passionate about and incorporate that in some way, shape, or form into the way you're doing your business, into the way you're doing your social, so that accentuates more of what you're about. Because when you're doing something that you're most passionate about, it comes through, it shines through. I mean, with Veronica, it shines through. With Deb, it shines through. With all of us, So I'll add that it's really important, because when you find that passion of yours, and you add that into the mix, that makes you stand out even more. And you're not just doing it for that factor, because once again, it's your passion, so it's part of who you are.
That's so true. And if I could just add, in terms of sharing, what you were saying, Stefan, about sharing your passion, you guys will often see me taking photos out in nature. And sometimes you might create a post that's more personal in nature, right? Like me sharing something in nature, a photo from nature. And you might think, well, maybe for Stefan, it would lead to a client. But for me, I wouldn't expect a post like that to lead to a client. But I actually did get a client as a result of that, because they're in environmental council. And they reached out and said, we see these photos of yours, and we want to talk to you about this. It was a virtual event they were looking for a producer for. So you never know when you share more personal aspects of your life. It may even lead to something business related, right?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Very true.
But Jim, what are I'm dying to know what your predictions are.
Well, I've talked about this in Wave. It asked me to be a part of their predictions, and upcoming book by Ross Brand as well. I think one of the biggest things we're going to see, and that's why I'll be interested to see what StreamYard does, is it's what I call the rise of scene-based live streaming software. The ability to quickly change from scene to scene into something that is visually appealing to your audience and not clunky is what people want. It's kind of like the easy button. It's the fact that, of course, I don't know if I'm going to blow something up. We'll see if this worked here. That by pressing a button, right, I'm able to change to where I have this look because I have it pre-programmed as a scene. These are things that people want. You can do this in things like Zoom by using what we call virtual cameras. And so instead of having to say, can I share my screen, please? I don't need you to share my screen because I have control. And I think that's important as a presenter, to have that control and not have to be relying maybe on the person that's running whatever you're doing to be able to technologically be able to understand that. So I think that's going to continue to rise. And when I talk about these other platforms, they all have that ability. And so, it kind of goes back to even what Stefan was talking about when it comes to social media platforms. I mean, Be Live, which we used to use a long time ago, has tried to, I don't say try, they've kind of revamped themselves where now they're doing some more stuff with e-commerce. So you can't, none of these things can say, oh, we've made it. We're at the mountaintop and we're set for life, because that's the thing about competition. People see where there's a need, they go after it. Some of these platforms are even allowing you to create, if you want to call it, vertical scenes that you can still run from your desktop. And so that's where it's going to be interesting with Instagram, because as we saw when we tested it last week, Tim, it's not exactly the greatest experience at the moment. Will they get better? It's hard to say, because at some point people may just say, like we talked about earlier, you know what, it's not worth my time just to go live on Instagram, because I can go live on all these other places. And so so that to me is one of the big predictions. We're going to see more a move towards that. And I think too, and we see it with everybody here on camera, I think that it's easier to go live. And so as much as people are going to be willing to forgive people to an extent, when they go live, I think there's also going to become an expectation of there's going to become a new floor of expectations. Like, you've got to have good audio, right? So if you don't go out and get a good microphone, that's gonna hurt people. That's gonna hurt brands. More people, as an example, I look at it too, is that first impression. When you jump on a Zoom call, when you jump on a live stream, a lot of times your virtual look is your first impression. So you need to work at, how do I get better at that? And I think just because, people want to say, oh, well, whether we're getting out of the pandemic, whatever is going on, this isn't going away. And I feel like there's still a lot of people that, because they thought it was going to go away, never took the time to work on this skill set. And so I think my prediction is this is going to continue to become important. This is going to be a differentiator between those that can be successful versus those that can't. And it actually ties in exactly with what Veronica's talking about, live solving, whether it's selling products, services by video. You've got to be able to have good presentation skills, and that doesn't mean PowerPoint. And so I think that, and then my other prediction is, because I know I'm getting excited about it, and I don't, I think there's a little bit of controversy, but this whole, Mid-Journey and some of these art things that allow you to create this AI art. I don't think, I know there's artists like, oh, you're stealing our jobs. I don't see it at that, because it's different, right? But the fact that it allows people like myself, I would include, that don't feel like they're necessarily the creative to create something by learning how to use a program, I think is nice. It's fun. It's like, look, I can actually make something that I can share with my friends and family. So I think that even if that gets people to be more creative, then maybe they start trying other things because they get that confidence. So I think that the use of this AI art, whether it's Mid-Journey or some of these other things, is going to continue to grow along with the use of AI, but it still goes back to being able to humanize it, and not just, because I'm a little concerned that some people are looking like, how do I make money out of this first, as opposed to how do I serve my community better. And so that's kind of my couple of my predictions. I have others in my mind, but I'll probably put that in my blog post, because I did start a blog last year, and I think I'm going to write a little bit more about that.
Updated.
Yes.
I agree with you that with people when in manufacturing and everything was going, oh, the robots are going to take over, no, they didn't. Hello, the people, we humans are so innovative, because out of everything, new jobs happen. And I used to have a recruiting company, and it was amazing of the new jobs that were happening 20 years ago, and that's what's gonna be like, as soon as something new comes on, somebody's going to jump on it and start, hey, I can be this, I can do this. We are, and with every recession we've had, or whatever major disaster, we've reinvented ourselves, because obviously, you lose your job because of, downsizing or whatever, and then you go, now what's next, right? So how can I reinvent myself and do the next thing? And that's how we're evolving. So AI is not going to take over. Really, people.
Yeah. Well, and I think you brought up a great point. If you look at, I know I can speak for myself, Tim and Stefan, what we're doing as remote virtual producers didn't exist 20 years ago.
Exactly.
I don't even know that I'd say it existed 5 years ago. It's really taken off and created a whole new industry. Where company, because people don't necessarily want to have to bring in a staff and pay, it's like, hey, if I can just have someone run this for me, and I don't even have to bring them on staff, I just pay as I go. There's some pros and cons to that.
Yeah.
But I think, also, and then even this whole e-commerce, this live solving, right?
Yeah,
it's a multi-billion-dollar industry already in China.
Yes.
And we're just scratching
live shopping. Yeah. If you think about when e-commerce when I started in 2011, I think 2010, 11, I had stores that were actually for international, were buying things here on sale physically, putting them in a box, and then sending them to the country. I had a Nigerian lady, which was very innovative. And then having the brands, like big stores brands, on their website and selling those products off their website. Brands weren't online. I mean, they weren't embracing e-commerce. Now everybody's online, right? And so even small countries are, I tell my students all the time, is like, you have to, even somebody from Belarus, she says she can't do it because, they don't have anything in the country. And I said, you got to start now, even if you have to work around the problems you have, because believe me, baby, it's coming, right? Because we are evolving internationally. That's how I started. That's how I started on. Don't interrupt me. So that's how I started in e-commerce internationally, because Shopify, because they were the only platform that had an international merchant account, and everybody has it now, right? And again, Jim, you said, things have to evolve. The platforms have to evolve, and so does the e-commerce platforms have come such a long way to what they were before. Hence I have to write my books again. It's like I did them in 2020. They're just like out of date, right?
Right.
Sorry. Okay.
Now you can talk, Stefan.
No. All good, man. All good. What I was going to add, Veronica can chastise me anytime she wants. She owes me a boat trip.
Oh, okay. No problem.
The thing I was going to add was about what Veronica was going on about there is important about adding something to your learning portfolio every year, Mm-hmm. Whatever it is, whether it's AI, whether it's Canva, whether it's whatever it is, find something, learn something new, and see how you can, and that you enjoy doing too, most of all, and incorporate that into what you're doing. Because what you were saying earlier is true. If you, other people look back at what we've done over the past, not just the pandemic, but me over the past like 12 years even. I was in journalism for 20 years, for crying out loud. I would never have predicted where I am now, Yeah. And when I started in social media, I was a social media guy, but then I realized the secret sauce was bringing in my visual experience.
Yes.
And then I added live streaming. And now this year, I'm probably going to add something else. So
exactly.
You just keep adding. And the same thing with anything. You got to keep adding to the portfolio and blending it together in your own special way,
Exactly. Yeah. Otherwise, we will be left behind because, Deb, social, all of you are on social, right? It changes so much on a weekly basis, daily basis. And so I have a question for you guys. What is the next thing for social? That's my big question.
Well, I think I think the next thing is already here, and Tim, it's Jim by Tim. Oh my God. It can be a tongue twister after a while. It's already here, and I've been meaning to jump into it more. And our colleague Rose Horowitz, for example, who a lot of people know has a great show, Women to Follow, is already immersed in it. Is the audio element to social.
Yes.
And I've been meaning to jump into it, and I'm going to get to it. I'm not a goal person. I'm kind of like always like, experimenting and this and that. I have certain goals, but same thing with resolutions. I don't make New Year's resolutions. But the bottom line is that audio's here, and audio is it's not becoming big again. It's been big for a while. But there's that added element to audio that a lot of people, listen, we know. There's a lot of prepping going on camera, right? I mean, like you want to show up yourself. You want to show up personable and everything else, but you want to be presentable and many other things too, right? I shaved before I came on here. Tim saw me this morning. I look like a grunt, Jim, you
I
wear a
have the
goatee.
screenshot.
You wear a goatee really well. I can't pull it off. So, but with audio, you don't have to do all that prep, you know, and you can have these great conversations with great crowds of people on many different platforms now. So I think audio is becoming is going to become more and more prevalent in people's portfolios, digital portfolios.
So Chris Stone has predicted, or no, he didn't predict. He actually told me. He sent me an article on that more women should be doing podcasts because not enough women are doing podcasts. And so that's the prediction for 2023 that he told me, is that they're hoping that more women will start more podcasts. I'm actually starting one. Hey, Tim, haha. I don't know when, but yeah, we will be. It'll be a fun thing. But starting
Breaking
a podcast
news.
and breaking news, baby, and but just, you know, and being authentic, as you said, you don't have to do your hair or your makeup or whatever, right? And just being online and having good conversations.
Yeah.
Well, Andrea Sanchez, who's been my accountability partner on my in-person event, she does a LinkedIn audio event twice a week called 15 Minutes of Kindness. So it's not even that long. People show up, they shout out who they're grateful for, what they're grateful for. It's quick, it's easy, and it's connected her with other people and connected each other in this community on her LinkedIn platform. So you don't have to get all polished and shiny. Not that you have to on video, but on audio, you really don't have to.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be that complicated either.
Yeah, I think going to what Tim said, I think that both LinkedIn audio and Deb does it with Social Trust, Twitter Spaces have created something that really people like. It can connect with it. You know, I know Madeline does with Twitter Smarter, does the audio, the Twitter Space after the chat as well, same day, and records that. She's also got a Twitter Space with that she does on, I think it's actually later today, on audio, and they turn that into a podcast. So I think you're seeing more repurposing. I think if you're going to see anything with social, it's more that repurposing. I mean, YouTube is now a podcast platform, right? It's that merging of audio and video in the podcast, or podcasters that were audio only now thinking, okay, if I create a video while I'm recording this, not meaning it's necessarily live, I can repurpose it, right? Like right now with StreamYard, we're using the individual audio or video tracks. So when I'm done with this, I can send this to each of you. You actually will have your own track of just you with your audio if you wanted to repurpose it.
Wow.
So those are the sort of things that are going to grow, is like taking that content, repurposing it. You know, I think it's actually the beginning of next month. It'd be very interesting. YouTube is going to monetize shorts. So now it kind of goes into, as a business, do you need to get on YouTube? I would already say the answer was long ago, yes, because it's an educational platform. I get it that people want to make money on it, but it's really not that many that have made it to that level. Right. But if I go search for, how to set up a Shopify account, I should be finding videos from Veronica Jeans. If I'm not, that means she needs to work on her YouTube, because I'm not going to Facebook to search for that stuff. I'm not going to LinkedIn to search for that stuff. Right. I'm going to the search places. And that's where I think YouTube is actually becoming, I won't say it's a social media platform, but it does allow you to build community. You can actually create posts on your YouTube. They're doing little things that people don't even realize are there. You can create polls. I think, Tim, we can actually do it on our channel. We just have never realized it because we thought we had to have more people. So I think that's where I say, what's going to happen with social? We're going to continue to see new platforms come up with the growth of the metaverse. There's going to be new things coming up. People are going off into these different worlds, and you can be an avatar and everything else. But it'll be interesting to see how, I still think we're a long way off from a large adoption of Web 3. I think people still struggle with Web 2.
I think so too. Yeah, I think so
Yeah, I
too.
think clients are still
But
trying
don't
to figure
close
out
your eyes
reality.
and think that it's going to go away. Yeah.
And so YouTube and Shopify are doing a thing, and so you can have a video or do a live, and you can sell your stuff on the bottom, but you do have to have 1,000 subscribers.
Right.
So they've, as I said, these platforms are getting so innovative right now. So it makes it so much easier to do stuff online, but you have to do videos, right? You have to be online. Yes. And that's the important part.
Yeah.
And go ahead, Deb.
Oh, thank you, Stefan. The other thing I just wanted to add about the audio element is and we didn't talk much about this today, but it's important, is accessibility, right? And when we offer something, there's video, we do the Twitter chat, not everyone tweets. That's why I did the audio to offer a different vehicle for the same messaging, basically a different opportunity. And what I see a lot of is two different audiences. I mean, there's some overlap, but there are many who will come to the space who never will come to the chat, and vice versa. Same with some of my guests. They'll say, I'm really not comfortable in that format, but I'll do this one. So I think that other piece, that when we repurpose, when we look at the different ways to share our content, is we make it more accessible to people, whether it's a basic need and the only way that they can best receive it, or just a preference, which, so again, I think what Stefan started us off with, the more we kind of don't get stuck on one platform or stuck in one way of doing things, and diversify, don't dilute, which I think is a really important point you made. Be careful. It's not about hopping on every single thing that's out there, but look at a spectrum of ways to show up online, and then you're not falling down when something goes away, which we've seen that happen.
No.
Well, I just want to say too that I have a lot invested in Twitter, but much like you, Stefan, it wasn't like everything was going to shut down if Twitter goes away. And we should all be in that position that we're not overly relying on something that we don't have control over. But yes, Stefan.
No, I was going to say two things I wanted to add to the mix here. This is a great conversation today. I follow Deb. I need to engage with her more because I really do love her approach towards things. Veronica, I just can't keep up with. She does so much that I have to learn more about what Veronica does. I know she's the Shopify queen, but I need to learn more about all the other stuff she does. But two things. One is that Deb was talking about that needs to be added to the mix here is engagement. And I was thinking about this the other day because I get a lot of engagement with a lot of things, whether it's Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, whatever it is. Whenever you have the time, even if you didn't on a certain day, to engage with the public on a post that's reacted well to, that they've reacted well to, make sure you go back and revisit that content. And make sure, I don't care if it's an emoji, I don't care if it's a GIF, whatever. For years, I still say GIF or GIF or whatever. I keep mixing it up. Or a quick response, but something more than generic stuff. You have to reach out to the people that are engaging with you, because if you don't, you're ignoring them. And you know what? People don't want to be ignored. They want to be acknowledged. They're giving you their time by looking at your content. Make sure you reciprocate and make sure that you pay that attention that they're paying you back in the simplest forms, but be personal about it, and not just 3 words either. And take some time. We have time for so many things in life. I think sometimes you can carve out a little time to good posts that you've made. It can't be every post. Nobody expects that kind of attention except your kids or your pets, whatever your kids are in life. But the bottom line is that you have to engage and be engaged. If not, you're going to just be another marketer out there, and that's bad. That's really bad. Bad.
I agree. It's a personalization, right? And so, I'm getting back to Shopify again, but they have updated the platform to grab all the conversations, like chats used to do. Grab all the conversations online, put it in your store, so you can talk to your customer while they're shopping, or if they have a question. And the cool part is you're collecting the emails. So having that connection, the chat online, on your website, people go, I'm not going to be there 24/7. I go, it doesn't matter. Nobody expects an answer straight away.
No.
But we've literally sold stuff by coming in the next day, answering questions and saying, hey, this is going to solve your problem or not, but yeah, it is so important to connect to people. And I get back to the old fashioned stuff, which is pick up the phone. Please, people. I mean, seriously, okay, we all
get out of your house.
Oh no, I'm not getting off my boat. I'm sorry, but you having a conversation with a customer makes it unbelievable. I mean, you will get a fan for life. I've chatted to people, but I admin some Shopify stores, and it's not the easiest thing to pick up the phone and go, okay, can I solve your problem, please? But having that conversation is amazing, because they then, oh, this is my problem, and I have this, and you give them suggestions, and hey, you have a fan, right? And then the other thing that I was suggesting customers to do is send a freaking postcard. I mean, people, come on. We do get a lot of junk mail, and I've noticed my junk mail is really down because most of us have gone paperless, right? But imagine getting a handwritten postcard from somebody that you've bought something from. Boom, it's not happening, right? It's a post. Again, back to my recruiting company, I used to have my recruiters had to send a postcard to their candidate and to their client, thanking them for the connection or whatever. And it's amazing the friendships they built up from that, So getting back to the old-fashioned networking, customer service 101.
But
Jim, what people forget.
Jim's been doing something really important too, and I want to give him big credit for this, because it's been tough coming out of the pandemic, and we're not out of it yet. No. So please, people, do not think I'm saying we are. We're not. We have a long way to go. But the bottom line is that things have opened up. We know how to be more careful. We know how to be careful for us and for others, which I think is important. I still, anyway, not getting into all that stuff. Jim's been going to a lot of conferences again. I see him out there all the time, traveling and going to these places and doing videos live from these different events and stuff. And I give him big credit, because I haven't been doing that like I used to, but I have been getting out more, and I have lunch with people again a lot, meetings with people, go spend quality time with people. Tim had a fantastic event back a few months ago. Has it been a few months or just a couple of months? Maybe even just a couple of months ago.
October.
It was November.
November, yeah.
November.
Oh, yeah, it's been a few months.
Time escapes me these days. But the bottom line is many of us went up to Shahola, where he is, and we got together. We helped him with his event. We spent quality time together. And then we went over to his home afterwards, and we had a great get together. People, we can't forget about that part of life. And what Veronica's saying with the phone, same thing. I've picked up the phone a lot over the holiday and talked with many people and had some great conversations. Don't let digital become the only thing in your life,
Right. Yeah, that's definitely true. So let's see. So we'll start to wrap up here. I think Veronica, that was a great question about where do we see social media going. I think, like you said, we're going to see more platforms, and it'll be interesting to see it, like, personally. And I know Tim, it's changed for Tim. Facebook has probably become like my least favorite platform, and I probably, I spend time on it, but not like maybe say 5 or 6 years ago when I first started with social, was like, oh, I got to be on Facebook. I mean, even though we're going live here on Facebook, we're actually going live on LinkedIn, and that's where most of our engagement has come from.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, LinkedIn and Twitter, I would say are close to 1 and 2, but YouTube has quickly become more of a 3, and it's like I need to do more on YouTube, just in general, because whether it's just sharing things about, like I need to do a video about how to go live on Instagram with third-party software.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because I've already found some of the glitches that people aren't seeing that I can share, because that's kind of what we do. We try things and we break it, and so you don't have to. I mean, Deb, I still need to do a video about to show people how to do the comments on LinkedIn after the fact, because people are like, I can't find that comment where somebody commented on my comment, and you're going to get your trolls out there that are going to say, mean things to you because they got nothing better else to do with their life, and that's okay.
Yep.
They've got
I
their problems.
I give you big credit, Jim. I've seen Jim go on when he did his first Instagram with StreamYard, and he was trying to do something. Yeah, you're going to make mistakes. Yeah, you're going to fumble a little and this and that. But I'm sorry, but I'm trying new things. Are you? Right. I mean, don't be afraid to fail, because you're not failing. Failing is not trying.
Yes.
I've had so here's one of my clients, and it's the puzzle lady, and she has not. I've known her for 10 years. She has never emailed. She has about 3,000 emails, and she's cleaning them up right now. She sent some emails out this Christmas. The first time ever she sent a campaign out, she made money. So she was in the workshop going, I sent my emails out and I made money. I go, hello. But the point is, if you don't try new things, you're not going to grow, right? So it is you and maybe also sometimes stepping back,
right,
and saying, is this, and as somebody said, you have to do what you're passionate about. That's the most important thing, I think, because being an entrepreneur, solopreneur, I don't know what preneur you are, but being that is very hard, because you wake up in the middle of the night going, oh my God, that's a fabulous idea, I need to do work on that, and you can't sleep now. So it's a 24/7 thing, and it is hard work for sometimes even for the benefits that you get. But if you're passionate about something, it will shine through. So if you're selling something, don't sell something you don't know anything about. You have to be passionate, because when those sales are down, it gets very hard to go, okay, I need to push forward. I need to do something. I need to maybe do something new, instead of going, oh no, nothing's happening, and let me just hibernate or, procrastinate or something, which is what we humanly always do, right? When things don't go right, we tend to procrastinate and not step forward and not step into the next thing, right? So I think, and then, as I said to my husband, you got to stay positive, So he had COVID, and he was feeling really, really bad for 3 days. And every day he said, how are you feeling? I go, I feel absolutely fabulous. And he says, I hate you. But the point is that you have to wake up with positiveness, and so that's how you're going to also gain. In 2023, we've come through such a hard time for all of us. We've lost people. Some people have lost jobs. We don't know where we're going. Some people have lost their paths. And so we need to be more positive. And I think that positiveness will help people that we are surrounded by our clients, by our friends, or whatever. And we are in the driving seat. And so I think also for 2023, be positive, people.
Yeah. All right. So real quick, we'll go around. Veronica, where's the best place for people to connect with you?
veronicajeans.com.
Awesome. And Deb?
DebColeman.com, anywhere on social, pretty much at Deb Coleman Writing. Love to connect with anybody tuning in who'd like to have a conversation.
Awesome. Stefan?
LinkedIn, Stefan Kaplan, of course, as LinkedIn is. Everywhere else, I was going to say this earlier, as I'm going to tell my students when I walk into a classroom for the first time in 3 years at FIT, brand yourself and make sure, even if you're not using a platform like Jim was saying earlier, be on that platform, at least get your name on it, get your brand on it. So Spin It Social, SPINIT Social, Spin It Social across the board on every platform out there, even my email.
Shopify Queen, baby.
Awesome. Tim, we've got a guest next week, and we'll be back at the same time. And so next week we're going to have Kevin Monroe with us, and so we're looking forward to that. So Tim, what do you got going on, and as we start this new year, and where can people connect with you?
Yes, so I have the Showing Up Perspectives on Cancer show is still going on every Tuesday at 3:00 Eastern time. So we have another episode of that coming up next week. I'm also working on a book called Perspectives on Cancer that Veronica Jeans has been very encouraging with and helping me with. So that's in the works. That will be coming out, I'm hoping, in the first half of 2023. Nice. So that'll have my cancer story in it, as well as 10 other cancer patient survivors and supporters stories in it. So I'm excited about that.
Excellent. And I'll be I started a blog last month. It's you can find me on Substack. It's jimfuse.substack.com, and it's a way for me to share my knowledge on things and not just always be about marketing. I think that kind of goes back to when we talk about, well, what happens if social goes away? Well, you own your blog, and that was one of the things that people were like, oh, I just lost my newsletter on Twitter. Well, go create a Substack account. I've got people subscribing, and it's easy to share. So I think I would encourage others to do that. And going to be speaking at Podfest at the end of the month in Orlando about how you can use Amazon Live to start a podcast. So, nice. And as you know, Chris is pressuring me to start another podcast. I'm kidding. I'm pressuring myself for that, but that's okay. It'll happen before November. And but yeah, great to see everyone. Wish everybody a happy 2023. Right? We always like, if you still write checks, do you still like mess up and put that 2 at the end? To get some people may like, what's a check? But that's a check.
If you do write 2022 by accident, you might have to break out your screaming goat.
Can I just add, I'm also launching a boot camp, Shopify boot camp, to get your store up and running on the 18th of January. So that's going to be exciting, because I think you should have your store. You should be selling stuff, right?
How do we find out more information about that, or if people want to sign up for that?
veronicajeans.com.
It's everything. All right. Just go to veronicajeans.com. It's
veronicajeans.com, baby. And
all right.
And I'm
Thank you, everyone. And
one thing.
We'll see you next time,
everybody.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.